There are some promises you never expect to break. The ones that feel so obvious, so fundamentally you, that breaking them would be like forgetting how to breathe. For me, that promise was simple. Family comes first. Always. No exceptions. Yet, here I am, sitting in my car outside my childhood home, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles have turned white, trying to work up the courage to face my brother after 2 years of silence. 2 years since I chose Ethan, my brother's best friend since middle school, over the most important relationship in my life. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. My name is Layla Patel, and the story of how I shattered my brother Amir's trust begins where most catastrophic mistakes do, with the best intentions. Growing up, it was always just Amir and me against the world. Our father left when I was 6, and our mother worked double shifts at the hospital to keep food on the table. As the older sibling, Amir took on the role of my protector, the one who checked my homework, scared away playground bullies, and later, thoroughly interrogated every boy who dared ask me to a school dance. "They have to go through me first," he'd say with that stern look that somehow managed to be both comical and intimidating on his teenage face. "Nobody messes with my little sister." I rolled my eyes, but secretly loved it. Having someone who cared, that much felt like having a safety net in a world that kept trying to knock us down. When Amir met Ethan in 7th grade, they became inseparable. Ethan was everything my brother wasn't: carefree, spontaneous, and utterly charming. Where Amir approached life with careful calculation, Ethan dove in head first. They balanced each other perfectly. Ethan became part of our family. Sunday dinners, holiday celebrations, family vacations. He was there for all of it. He was the brother I never had, until he wasn't. I can pinpoint the exact moment everything changed. It was my 24th birthday, and Amir had organized a surprise party at our favorite restaurant. I'd just finished my master's degree in architecture and landed my dream job at a prestigious firm. Life was finally falling into place. Speech. Everyone chanted as I stood, champagne glass in hand, cheeks flushed with happiness, and maybe one too many drinks. "Thank you all for coming," I began, my eyes scanning the room filled with friends and family. Especially my amazing brother who somehow managed to keep a secret for once in his life. Laughter rippled through the crowd as Amir playfully bowed. "I wouldn't be where I am today without you," I continued, my voice softening with sincerity. "You've been my rock, Amir, my constant. I don't know how I got lucky enough to have you as my brother, but I'm grateful every day." As I raised my glass, in his direction our eyes locked and I saw a flash of emotion cross his face: pride, love, and something like relief. As if he'd completed some unspoken mission to see me safely into adulthood. Later that night, as the party wound down, I found myself alone on the restaurant's balcony, staring up at the stars and thinking about the future. Room for one more? Ethan's voice startled me out of my thoughts. He stood in the doorway, jacket slung casually over one shoulder, looking unfairly handsome in the moonlight. At 28, he'd outgrown the gangly awkwardness of his teenage years. His dark hair was artfully tousled, and there was a confidence in the way he carried himself that hadn't been there before. "Always," I replied, gesturing to the empty space beside me. He joined me at the railing, our shoulders almost touching. For a few minutes, we just stood in comfortable silence, watching the city lights below. "You know," he finally said, "I've known you for what, 12 years now?" I nodded, smiling at the memories of an awkward teenage Ethan stumbling over his words around any girl who wasn't me. "And in all that time," he continued, turning to face me, "I've watched you grow from Amir's annoying little sister who used to spy on our video game sessions to this incredible, brilliant woman who just gave the most heartfelt speech I've ever heard." Something in his voice made me look up, and what I saw in his eyes sent a jolt of electricity down my spine. He wasn't looking at me like I was his best friend's little sister anymore. "Ethan?" I whispered, suddenly very aware of how close we were standing. "I know," he said quickly, taking a step back. "I know this is crazy and probably the worst idea ever. But I can't stop thinking about you, Layla. Not as Amir's sister, but as you." In that moment, I should have walked away. I should have laughed it off, blamed it on the champagne, and never mentioned it again. That's what the old Layla would have done, the one who would never risk hurting her brother. Instead, I leaned forward and kissed him. That kiss changed everything. It was like someone had flipped a switch, illuminating feelings I hadn't even known were there. Suddenly, all those years of comfortable friendship were cast in a new light. The way he always remembered my coffee order, how he'd call me during college just to check in, the proud smile on his face when I graduated. "We can't tell Amir," were the first words out of my mouth when we finally broke apart. "Not yet. He wouldn't understand." Ethan nodded, though I could see the conflict in his eyes. "We'll figure it out," he promised. "Take it slow, find the right moment." But the right moment never came. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and our secret relationship deepened. We stole moments together, coffee dates across town where no one would see us, late-night phone calls, weekend getaways explained away with flimsy excuses. Each lie felt like a small betrayal, but I justified it by telling myself I was protecting Amir. That we'd tell him when the time was right, when our relationship was established enough to weather his initial anger. I underestimated how quickly secrets have a way of unraveling. 6 months into our relationship, Amir showed up at my apartment, unannounced. I'd told him I was sick with the flu, too ill for visitors, when in reality, Ethan and I had planned a romantic dinner at my place. The look on my brother's face when he walked in and found his best friend cooking in my kitchen, clearly comfortable, in a space he should have been unfamiliar with, is seared into my memory. Confusion, followed by dawning comprehension, and finally, devastating betrayal. "How long?" was all he asked, his voice eerily calm. When neither of us answered immediately, he slammed his fist against the wall. "How long?" "6 months," Ethan finally admitted, stepping forward. "Amir, we were going to tell you." "6 months," my brother repeated, cutting him off. He looked at me then, and I barely recognized him. 6 months of lying to my face. Both of you. "Amir, please," I begged, tears streaming down my face. "It's not what you think. We didn't plan this." "You know what hurts the most, Layla?" He interrupted, his voice breaking. "Not that you're with him. It's that you didn't trust me enough to tell me, that you looked me in the eye day after day and lied." Before I could respond, he turned to Ethan. "And you, my best friend, the person I trusted most in this world." Ethan reached out, but Amir recoiled as if his touch would burn. "Don't. Just don't." With that, he walked out the door. I ran after him, calling his name, but by the time I reached the street, he was gone. I tried everything in the days that followed. Calls, texts, showing up at his apartment, his workplace. He blocked my number and moved apartments without telling me where. Our mutual friends chose sides, and most chose his. I couldn't blame them. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The only updates I got were through our mother, who refused to take sides but made her disappointment clear. "Family is everything, Layla," she said during one of our increasingly rare conversations. "I raised you both to know that." Ethan and I stayed together, our relationship now in the open but forever stained by how it began. Sometimes late at night I'd catch him staring at his phone, scrolling through old texts from Amir that would never be answered again. The guilt was a third presence in our relationship, always there, impossible to ignore. A year passed. Then, another. Amir met someone new. A kind woman named Sophia, who made him happier than I'd seen him in years, according to Mom. They got engaged last month, and that's why I'm here now, sitting in my car outside my childhood home, summoning the courage to face him. My mother called 3 days ago. "He's invited you to the engagement party," she said, her voice cautious but hopeful. "Both of you." "Both?" I repeated, hardly daring to believe it. "You and Ethan," she confirmed. "He says it's time." I hang up and called Ethan immediately, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. "He wants us there," I told him, my voice breaking. "Both of us." There was a long silence on the other end. "I'm not going," Ethan finally said. "What?" "But this is our chance to—" "Our chance to what, Layla? Pretend everything's fine? That I didn't betray my best friend?" His voice was tired, resigned in a way that sent alarm bells ringing through my mind. "Ethan, what are you saying?" "You saying?" "You say—" Another pause, longer this time. "I'm saying that I love you. God, I love you so much, but being with me cost you your brother. And maybe it's time for you to get him back." "Don't," I whispered, suddenly understanding where this conversation was heading. "Don't you dare make this decision for me." "I'm not," he insisted. "This is your choice. But I need you to really think about what you want, Layla, about who you need in your life." "I need both of you," I argued, tears streaming down my face. "And if you can have that, I'll be the happiest man alive," Ethan said softly. "But if it comes down to a choice, I don't want to be the reason you lose your brother forever. That conversation happened yesterday, and we left it unresolved. Ethan thinks I'm here to choose, my brother or him. But that's not why I came. I'm here because I finally understand what I did wrong 2 years ago. It wasn't falling for Ethan. It wasn't even keeping it secret at first. It was forgetting that real love, romantic or familial, is built on honesty, on trust, on putting the other person's needs alongside your own." I take a deep breath and finally step out of the car. The walk to the front door feels like the longest journey of my life. I can hear laughter and music from inside, the sounds of a celebration I almost wasn't invited to. My hand trembles as I ring the doorbell. Footsteps approach, and then the door swings open. There he is, my brother, 2 years older, with new lines around his eyes and a slight shadow of a beard he didn't have before. For a moment, we just stare at each other, all the prepared speeches evaporating from my mind. "Layla," he says finally, his voice carefully neutral. "You came." "Amir, The words catch in my throat. How do you apologize for 2 years of silence? For breaking the one person who always put you first? And then I notice something behind him. On the wall of the entryway hangs a framed photo I've never seen before. It's from my graduation day. Me in my cap and gown, flanked by Amir on one side and Ethan on the other, all of us laughing at some forgotten joke. A moment frozen in time before everything fell apart. He kept it. Despite everything, he kept it. My brother and I stand in the doorway, the weight of 2 years hanging between us. That photograph on the wall, the 3 of us together, happy, and oblivious to the storm ahead, feels like both an accusation and a lifeline. "You kept it," I say softly, nodding toward the picture. Amir follows my gaze, his expression unreadable. "Some things you can't throw away, no matter how much you want to." The words sting, but I deserve them. I take a deep breath. "Is Ethan here yet?" Something flickers across my brother's face. Surprise, maybe disappointment. "No. Mom said you were coming together." We didn't," I stammer, suddenly aware of how this looks, how it confirms every fear my brother probably had. that Ethan and I wouldn't last, that the pain we caused wasn't worth it. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. He thought it would be better if I came alone, I explained quickly. To talk to you first. Amir studies me for a long moment, then steps aside. Well, you're here now. Everyone's in the backyard. I follow him through the house, instantly transported back to childhood by the familiar smells, Mom's jasmine incense, the lemon polish she uses on the furniture. The house is filled with people, many of whom I recognize. Old family friends, cousins, neighbors. They fall silent as I pass, conversations halting mid-sentence. I feel their eyes on me. The prodigal daughter finally returned. Through the sliding glass doors, I spot Sophia in the garden laughing with my mother. She's beautiful, tall with warm brown skin and a smile that lights up her entire face. Even from here, I can see why my brother loves her. Amir pauses at the door, turning to me with a seriousness that makes my heart sink. Look, Layla, I invited you because Mom insisted and because Sophia wants to meet you. But I need you to understand something. This day is about us, about our future, not about what happened between you, me, and Ethan. I nod, swallowing past the lump in my throat. I understand. I'm just here to support you, Amir, both of you. He holds my gaze for a moment longer, then gives a short nod. Good. Then let's go. The afternoon passes in a blur of awkward, small talk and careful navigation around the elephant in the room. Sophia is genuinely kind, embracing me like we're already sisters. I've heard so much about you, she says warmly. All terrible, I'm sure, I joke weakly. Her expression softens. Actually, no. Amir talks about how brilliant you are, how determined, how you helped put him through college by working 2 jobs. Her words catch me off guard. I glance across the yard at my brother, who's deep in conversation with our uncle. He said that? Sophia nods. He misses you, Layla. He would never admit it, but he does. Those simple words, he misses you, crack something open inside me. For 2 years I've been carrying this weight, this certainty that Amir hates me, that I've ruined everything beyond repair. To hear that underneath all the anger and hurt, he still thinks of me, still talks about me. It's more than I dared hope for. As the party winds down, I find myself helping my mother clean up in the kitchen, just like old times. We work in comfortable silence until she breaks it. He waited. You know? She says, her hands busy drying a wine glass. What? Amir. After you and Ethan? She trails off, searching for the right words. He waited for you to come to him, for months. I nearly dropped the plate I'm holding. What are you talking about? I tried everything to reach him. He blocked my number, moved without telling me. After that, Mom interrupts gently. About 6 months in, he unblocked your number. He was ready to talk, to listen. But by then, you'd stopped trying. The revelation hits me like a physical blow. All this time, I thought he'd shut me out completely, when in reality, I'd given up too soon. Why didn't you tell me? I whisper. My mother sighs, setting down the towel. It wasn't my place, Beta. Some things you have to figure out for yourselves. She takes my hands in hers, her eyes sad but kind. Both of you are so stubborn, so afraid of being hurt that you build these walls. Just like your father. The comparison to our father, the man who walked away and never looked back, makes me flinch. I'm nothing like him, I say fiercely. I came back. I'm trying. I know, sweetheart, she soothes. That's why you're here now. That's why there's still hope. Later, as guests begin to leave, I find myself alone with Amir on the front porch. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the lawn. We sit side by side on the steps, not touching, but closer than we've been in years. Sophia's amazing, I say, breaking the silence. You look happy with her. Amir nods, a small smile playing at his lips. She is. She makes everything easier. I understand what he means. The right person doesn't solve your problems, but they make carrying them less lonely. I'm sorry Ethan couldn't come, my brother says suddenly, surprising me. I look at him sharply. Are you? Really? He considers this, then shrugs. I don't know. Part of me wanted to see if you were still together, if it was worth it. The question hangs between us, unspoken but deafening. Was it worth losing me? We are, I say quietly. Still together, I mean. I hesitate, then add, but nothing was worth losing you, Amir. Nothing. He stares straight ahead, his profile illuminated by the dying light. Then why did you lie? For 6 months, Layla. 6 months of looking me in the eye and lying. Because I was scared, I admit, the truth finally spilling out. Not just of how you'd react, but of what it meant. Ethan wasn't supposed to be anything serious. He was your best friend, off limits. But then it became real, and I didn't know how to tell you without hurting you. So I said nothing, and hurt you worse. Amir is quiet for so long, I think he's not going to respond. When he finally speaks, his voice is low, controlled. You know what the worst part was? Not that you were with him. It was that you didn't trust me enough to handle it. You and Ethan, the two people I trusted most, you made me feel like I was unreasonable, like I was some kind of tyrant who couldn't be reasoned with. His words land like blows because they're true. We did treat him like that. Like his feelings didn't matter. Like our happiness justified any deception. You were always my protector, I say softly. The one who made sure I was okay, who put me first. Maybe I convinced myself this was the one time I shouldn't put your feelings first. That it was finally my turn to choose what I wanted, even if it hurt you. I shake my head, ashamed. I was selfish. Yeah, he agrees, but there's no heat in it, just tired acceptance. You were. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. We sit in silence again, but it feels different now, less strained, more thoughtful. In the distance, a car door slams, and voices call out goodbyes. Do you love him? Amir asks suddenly. Really love him. Really love him. The question catches me off guard, but my answer comes without hesitation. Yes, I do. He nods slowly. And does he make you happy? Not just the honeymoon phase stuff, but the real deal? Is he there when things get hard? I think about Ethan, about how he held me through countless nights of tears over my brother, how he never once blamed me for the fallout or pressured me to choose, how he's willing now to step aside if it means healing the rift between Amir and me. Yes, I say firmly. He does. He is. Amir sighs deeply, rubbing a hand over his face. Then I've been unfair too. It's my turn to be surprised. What do you mean? I mean, he says carefully, that I used your relationship as an excuse. The lying hurt, it still does. But after a while, I could have reached out, could have tried to understand. Instead, I held onto the anger because it was easier than admitting I missed you both. His honesty leaves me speechless. For 2 years, I've carried the burden of our estrangement alone, convinced that I was the sole villain in our story. To hear him claim his part in it feels like setting down a heavy load I've been carrying for too long. I don't know how to fix this, I confess. I don't know if we can go back to how things were. We can't, he says simply. Too much has happened. But maybe we can build something new, something different. Hope blooms in my chest, fragile but persistent. I'd like that. He nods, then stands, dusting off his pants. It's getting late. You should probably head out. Just like that, the moment passes. We're back to polite distance, the bridge between us still under construction. But it's a start. The foundation laid for something that might one day be strong again. As I walk to my car, I pull out my phone. There are 3 missed calls from Ethan and a text. How did it go? Are you okay? I smile through tears and type back, I'm okay. We talked, really talked. It's a start. His response comes immediately. I'm so proud of you. Come home when you're ready. I love you. Home. Such a simple word for such a complicated concept. For so long, home was wherever Amir was, the steady presence that anchored my life. Then it became Ethan, the unexpected harbor I found in the storm of my own making. Now I'm beginning to understand that home isn't a person at all. It's the truth you build between the people you love, the foundation that lets you walk away and still find your way back. I'm about to start my car when I hear footsteps behind me. Turning, I see Amir jogging down the driveway. I forgot to tell you something. He calls out, slightly breathless. The wedding is in 3 months, October 15th. I nod, unsure where this is going. It's in my calendar, Mom told me. He shifts awkwardly, hands in his pockets. What I mean is, Sophia and I want you there. Both of you. And not just as guests. My heart stutters. What are you saying? I'm saying, he takes a deep breath, that I need a best man. And Sophia needs a bridesmaid. If you two are willing, the positions are open. I stare at him, unable to process what I'm hearing. Amir, are you sure? After everything? I'm not saying it's all fixed. He interrupts, holding up a hand. We have a lot more talking to do, all 3 of us. But life's too short, you know. Mom's right about that. Much, at least. He attempts a smile, though it doesn't quite reach his eyes. So what do you say? Think Ethan still remembers how to give a proper toast? The question brings unexpected laughter bubbling up through my tears. Are you kidding? He's been practicing. His best man speech since you two were 15. He'll be unbearable. Something shifts in Amir's expression at the mention of Ethan. Pain, nostalgia, resignation. I can't quite tell. But he doesn't retract the offer. Tell him. He hesitates. Tell him we should meet, the 3 of us. Figure out where we go from here. It's more than I dared hope for when I drove here today. Not forgiveness, not yet. But an opening, a chance to rebuild what we broke. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. As Amir turns to go, he pauses. Oh, and Layla? Next time, don't wait for an invitation. Mom misses you at Sunday dinners. With that, he walks back to the house, leaving me stunned and hopeful in equal measure. That night, I tell Ethan everything about the photograph, the conversation with Sophia, my mother's revelation, and finally, Amir's unexpected offer. He listens in silence, his eyes growing wider with each new detail. Best man? He repeats when I finish. He wants me to be his best man? And me to be Sophia's bridesmaid, I confirm, still hardly believing it myself. Ethan sinks onto our couch, running a hand through his hair. I don't understand. After everything we did, I correct gently, sitting beside him. This isn't just about you and Amir. It's about all of us. The choices we made, the people we hurt, the time we lost. He looks at me, eyes serious. Do you think we can fix it? Really fix it? I think about my brother's face as he extended the olive branch, cautious, wounded, but determined. I think about the photograph he kept and the memories we share that can't be erased by 2 years of silence. I don't know, I answer honestly. But I know we have to try. 3 days later, I find myself back at my childhood home. This time, Ethan is with me, his hand gripping mine so tightly it almost hurts. We stand on the porch, both of us too nervous to ring the bell. "What if he's changed his mind?" Ethan whispers. Before I can answer, the door swings open. Amir stands there, tension visible in every line of his body. For a long moment, he and Ethan just stare at each other, former best friends turned strangers by love and betrayal. Then Amir does something that stops my heart. He steps forward and pulls Ethan into a rough hug. "You look like hell," he mutters, his voice gruff with emotion. Ethan stands frozen for a second before returning the embrace, his eyes squeezed shut. "Yeah, well, turns out losing your best friend does that to you." When they pull apart, both men are blinking back tears. Amir turns to me next, his expression softer than I've seen it in years. "You too, little sister," he says, opening his arms, as though. I step into my brother's embrace. I realize something profound. The road to forgiveness is long, longer than a conversation on a porch or an invitation to a wedding. It's built one small moment at a time, one truth after another, each one laying the foundation for the next. We're not there yet. There will be hard conversations ahead, old wounds reopened, new boundaries established. But standing here, the three of us together for the first time in 2 years, I finally believe what seemed impossible before. Some broken things can be mended. Some promises, even after they're broken, can be made anew. 7 weeks after that first reunion, I find myself standing in my mother's kitchen, surrounded by the chaos of wedding preparations. Sophia sits at the counter, a spreadsheet of seating arrangements in front of her, while my mother fusses over a tray of samosas she's preparing for the rehearsal dinner. "No, the Patels cannot sit with the Shaws," Sophia groans, erasing something for the 5th time. "Not after what happened at the engagement party." I slide a cup of chai toward her. "What happened at the engagement party?" "Trust me," my mother interjects. "You don't want to know. Family drama that goes back 3 generations. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you." We all laugh, and the sound of it, natural, easy, still catches me by surprise. 2 months ago, I wouldn't have believed I'd be here, helping plan my brother's wedding, welcomed back into the fold as if the last 2 years were nothing but a bad dream. But that's not quite right. The years of estrangement weren't erased. They were acknowledged, examined, and slowly, painfully worked through. The process began the day after Amir's unexpected invitation. True to his word, he arranged for the 3 of us to meet at a neutral location, a quiet coffee shop downtown where we used to study during college. I arrived first, securing a corner table away from curious ears. Ethan came next, so nervous he ordered a cappuccino despite hating coffee. When Amir finally walked in, precisely on time as always, the air between us crackled with tension. "So," my brother said after we'd all settled in, "where do we start?" Ethan and I exchanged glances. We'd spent hours the night before discussing this very question, rehearsing what we would say, how we would explain. But in the moment, all our careful preparations dissolved. "I'm sorry," Ethan blurted out. "God, Amir, I'm so sorry. You were my best friend, my brother, and I betrayed you." Amir's expression remained carefully neutral. "You fell in love with my sister." "Yes," Ethan admitted, "but that's not the betrayal. The betrayal was not telling you, hiding it for months, making you feel like a fool." My brother's jaw tightened. "Do you know what it was like? Finding out that the 2 people I trusted most had been lying to my face? Do you have any idea how that felt?" "No," I said quietly. "We don't. But we'd like to understand, if you're willing to tell us." For a moment, I thought he might get up and leave. Instead, he took a deep breath and began to speak. What followed was the most honest conversation the three of us had ever had. Amir described the sickening sense of betrayal he felt that night in my apartment. Not just that Ethan and I were together, but that we'd deemed him too volatile, too controlling to handle the truth. He told us how he'd spent months alternating between rage and grief, how he'd questioned every memory, wondering what else we might have hidden from him. The worst part, he confessed, was that I couldn't even hate you properly, because every time I tried, I'd remember all the good times, all the reasons I loved you both in the first place. His vulnerability broke something open between us. Ethan and I shared our side too, how our feelings had caught us both by surprise, how the deception had started small and grown until it felt impossible to undo. I convinced myself I was protecting you, I admitted. But really, I was protecting myself. I was afraid of losing you, so I made choices that guaranteed I would. By the time we left that coffee shop hours later, nothing was resolved, but something had shifted. We agreed to meet again the following week, and the week after that. Slowly, painfully, we began to rebuild. There were setbacks, of course. The first time Amir saw Ethan reach for my hand, he flinched visibly. The first time I mentioned an old family joke to Sophia, Amir accused me of trying to claim territory in his new relationship. Each misstep threatened to unravel our fragile progress. But we persisted. We established new boundaries, new ways of being together. We learned to speak uncomfortable truths instead of comfortable lies. And gradually, something like trust began to grow again. Not the blind, unquestioning trust of before, but something more mature, more resilient. Now, as I help prepare for my brother's wedding, that growth is evident in 1,000 small ways. In how Amir calls Ethan for advice about his vows, in how my mother has started inviting us both to Sunday dinners again, in how I can tease my brother without fear of reopening old wounds. Earth to Layla. Sophia's voice breaks through my thoughts. I asked if you've found a dress yet. I blink, coming back to the present. Sorry, miles away. Yes, I have an appointment next week. Do you want to come? She beams, and I'm struck again by how lucky my brother is to have found someone so generous of spirit. From the beginning, Sophia has been our greatest advocate, gently encouraging Amir whenever his resolve wavered, never taking sides but always pushing for reconciliation. I'd love to, she says. And speaking of the wedding, have you and Ethan decided where you're staying? Mom has offered your old room, but I told Amir you might want your space. The casual way she refers to my mother as Mom makes me smile. She's already part of the family in all the ways that matter. We've booked a hotel, I tell her. But thanks for checking. My mother looks up from her cooking. You could stay here if you wanted, both of you. The offer hangs in the air, significant in its casualness. 2 months ago, the idea of Ethan staying in my childhood home would have been unthinkable. Now, it's presented as a simple option. No, different than a hotel. Maybe next time, I say, touched by the gesture. For now, the hotel makes sense logistically. What I don't say is that Ethan and I need our own space, not because we're uncomfortable with my family, but because we have decisions to make, big ones. The night before, as we lay in bed discussing the wedding preparations, Ethan had turned to me with uncharacteristic seriousness. Move in with me, he said suddenly. Officially. I propped myself up on one elbow, studying his face in the dim light. We already live together. No, I mean... He hesitated, then reached for something in his nightstand. I mean this. He opened his palm to reveal a small velvet box. Inside was a ring. Simple, elegant, and unmistakably an engagement ring. Ethan, I whispered, my heart pounding. I'm not proposing. Not yet, he clarified quickly. I wouldn't do that right before your brother's wedding, but I want you to know where I stand, where I hope we're heading. I stared at the ring, a tangle of emotions coursing through me. Joy, love, fear, and something else I couldn't quite name. What about Amir? I asked finally. Do you think he's ready for this? Ethan closed the box gently. I think that's the wrong question. The right question is, are we ready? Is this what you want? Is it what I want? The question followed me into my dreams and lingered as I drove to my mother's house this morning. 2 years ago, I chose Ethan over my brother, convinced it was an either-or proposition. Now, on the cusp of potentially making that choice permanent, I find myself wondering if it's still a choice at all. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The sound of the front door opening pulls me from my thoughts. Amir walks in, followed by Ethan, both of them laughing about something. My heart swells at the sight. My brother and the man I love, friends again despite everything. We come bearing gifts, Amir announces, holding up a bag from the bakery down the street. Stress relief in pastry form. Oh, thank God, Sophia says, grabbing the bag. I was about to start eating these seating cards. As everyone crowds around, the treats. I watch Ethan and Amir interact, the easy way they fall into conversation, the inside jokes that have survived 2 years of silence. Not everything is the same. There's a new carefulness between them, a consciousness of the fragility, of what they've rebuilt. But the foundation is strong. Later, as Ethan and I drive home, a comfortable silence fills the car. I think about the ring hidden in his nightstand, about the future it represents, about the past we've had to overcome to get here. I've been thinking, I say finally, about what you asked last night. His hands tighten slightly on the steering wheel. And I think I'm ready for all of it. But I hesitate. But you want to talk to Amir first? He finishes for me. I nod, relieved. He understands. Not for permission. Just to, I don't know, do it right this time. Ethan reaches over to squeeze my hand. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. The opportunity comes 3 days later. Amir calls asking if I can help him pick up the wedding rings from the jeweler. The original plan fell through, and Sophia is swamped with last-minute details. Just us? I confirm, surprised. Unless you're busy, he says, a hint of the old defensiveness creeping into his voice. No, I assure him quickly. I'd love to help. An hour later, we're in his car, stuck in unexpected traffic. The jeweler is across town, and at this rate, we'll be in the car together for at least 45 minutes. It feels like fate. So, I begin, trying to sound casual. How are you feeling? About the wedding, I mean. Amir smiles, and I'm struck by how much lighter he seems these days. Nervous, excited, ready. Sophia's amazing, I say sincerely. You two are good together. She is, he agrees. I got lucky. We lapse into silence again, but it's comfortable now. The kind of silence that exists between people who don't need to fill every moment with words. Amir, I say finally, gathering my courage. There's something I wanted to talk to you about. He glances at me, raising an eyebrow. That sounds serious. It is, I think. I take a deep breath. Ethan asked me to move in with him, officially. My brother's expression doesn't change. You already live together. That's what I said. I laugh nervously. But he meant more than that. He showed me a ring. This gets his full attention. A ring? As in, he's not proposing. Not yet. I clarify quickly. But he wanted me to know that's where he sees us heading. Amir is quiet for a long moment, processing this information. The traffic inches forward, and I resist the urge to fill the silence with nervous chatter. Are you asking for my blessing? He finally asks, his voice carefully neutral. No, I say honestly. I'm telling you because I want you to hear it from me, not after the fact. I'm telling you because 2 years ago I made choices that hurt you deeply, and I never want to do that again. I hesitate, then add, and yes, I guess I am asking if you're okay with it. He sighs, a complex sound that contains too many emotions to parse. Do you love him, Layla? Really love him? Yes, I say without hesitation. More than I thought possible. And he loves you? He treats you well? He does, I confirm. He's everything, Amir. My brother nods slowly, his eyes fixed on the road ahead. Then my opinion shouldn't matter. But it does, I insist. It matters to me. It matters to Ethan. The traffic comes to a complete standstill, and Amir takes the opportunity to turn and look at me directly. 2 years ago, I would have lost my mind at the thought of you two getting engaged. I would have seen it as the ultimate betrayal. My heart sinks at his words, but he continues. But I'm not that person anymore. The last 2 months have shown me that. Watching you two together, seeing how genuinely happy you make each other, it's helped me understand why you took the risk in the first place. Hope blooms in my chest. So you're saying, I'm saying, he interrupts gently, that if Ethan makes you happy, then I'm happy for you. Both of you. Tears spring to my eyes. Really? Really, he confirms. But if he ever hurts you, all bets are off. Best friend or not, I will end him. I laugh through my tears, recognizing the protective big brother I've missed so much. Noted. The traffic begins to move again, and we drive in companionable silence for a while. Then Amir speaks again, his voice thoughtful. You know, I used to wonder if I'd ever forgive you two, if things could ever be normal again. And now? I prompt. He considers this. Now I think normal is overrated. What we have now, it's different. We've all changed, but maybe that's not a bad thing. I think about the last 2 months, about the hard conversations, the painful honesty, the slow rebuilding of trust, about how different our relationships are now, more conscious and less automatic, more chosen. No, I agree. It's not a bad thing at all. 3 weeks later, I stand in the bridal suite of a picturesque vineyard, helping Sophia with the final touches of her wedding ensemble. Her hands tremble slightly as I fasten her mother's pearls around her neck. Nervous? I ask, meeting her eyes in the mirror. She takes a deep breath. Terrified. Happy. Everything at once. I squeeze her shoulders gently. He loves you so much. Sophia, you two are perfect together. She turns to face me, taking my hands in hers. Thank you, she says earnestly. Not just for today, but for everything. For coming back. For trying again. It means more to Amir than he'll ever admit. Before I can respond, there's a knock at the door. My mother pokes her head in, resplendent in a sapphire blue sari. It's time, she announces. The guests are seated and your groom is waiting. As we make our way to the ceremony site, I catch a glimpse of Ethan standing at the altar beside my brother. They're deep in conversation, heads bent close together, and the sight of them, the two most important men in my life, reunited after everything, fills me with a joy so intense it borders on pain. Ethan looks up and spots me, his face breaking into a smile that still makes my heart race after all this time. I touch the ring that now sits on my left hand. Not an engagement. Ring, not yet, but a promise. A new beginning. The music starts, signaling the beginning of the ceremony. As I take my place beside the other bridesmaids, I watch my brother's face as he sees Sophia for the first time in her wedding dress. The love there is unmistakable, transformative. I glance at Ethan and find him already looking at me. In his eyes, I see the same promise that's been growing between us for the past 3 months. A A future built on honesty, on choice, on the hard work of loving someone through their worst mistakes. When the officiant asks who supports this marriage, Amir surprises everyone by stepping forward and taking both our hands, mine and Ethan's, pulling us to stand beside him. "My family," he says simply. "All of them." And in that moment, I understand something profound about forgiveness. It isn't something you earn or deserve. It's something you build together. One difficult conversation at a time. One act of courage after another. 2 years ago, I broke a promise I never thought I'd break. I chose romantic love over family loyalty, and in doing so, I lost both. Today, standing beside my brother as he marries the love of his life, his best friend once again at his side, I realize that the most important promises aren't the ones we keep perfectly. They're the ones we fight to rebuild after they've been broken. As my brother and his bride say their vows, I feel Ethan's hand slip into mine. I look up at him, at the future written in his eyes, and I make a silent promise of my own: to love honestly, to forgive generously, and to remember that the most beautiful things can grow from the pieces of what was broken. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.